the chairman of the Convocation, Dr. Adamu Kazaure, former Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, and also former Rector of this Polytechnic, the Rector of Husseini Adamu Federal Polytechnic Kazaure, Dr. Sabo Waladuse, His Highness, the Emir of Kazaure, Alhaji Dr. Najib Husseini Adamu, the Registrar of the Polytechnic, Dr. Muhammad Ali. I had one of the speakers mentioned also a member of the National Assembly here, a senator. Permit me to recognize him once again. Our royal fathers here present, respected personalities here present, academics here present, the graduates here present, their family members, all other protocol duly and respectfully observed. Good evening to all of you, and may Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. Permit me to begin by congratulating our friends and children that are graduating from this Polytechnic, and also their family members, particularly their sponsors. I know the difficulty of sponsoring students to higher institution of learning. I use the opportunity to congratulate all of them for attaining this very important milestone in their life. As we converge here on this campus for the graduation ceremony lecture, or as we call it in Nigeria, Convocation lecture, I have been informed that there are 5 sets here, commencing from 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. I am very proud of you, and I congratulate the Polytechnic, the sponsors, and the graduates that are graduating today up to tomorrow. And I pray to the Almighty to bless the certificate you have obtained and the knowledge you acquired. The topic of this convocation lecture, as it was earlier announced by the registrar of the Polytechnic, is skills development, opportunities and challenges in the industry 4.0. This topic is very apt and relevant because graduation from any higher institution of learning opens many doors of opportunities for you on one hand, and also open many doors of challenges on the other. What the topic conveys to us is the fact that your certificate that you are about to obtain, either OND or HND, is important, but it's not sufficient. That is the actual message of the topic. What you have attained so far is important and relevant, but it's not sufficient. Why is not sufficient? Because we can all remember that not all the experts of yesterday are the experts of today. And by implication, not all the experts of today are going to be the experts of tomorrow. This is indeed very important. There are many experts all over the world in the last 30, 40, or even 20 years, but today they are no more relevant. And there are many experts today globally that if they fail to upgrade and upscale their skills, they could not be experts by tomorrow. It is because of this that our certificates of ordinary national diploma, higher national diploma, degree, MSc, MBA, PhD, they are important. However, they are not sufficient. Particularly, if you look at the topic, there are 4 key words. 2 of them may require explanation. Number 1, skills development. Number 2, opportunities. Number 3, challenges. Number 4, industry 4.0. Permit me to explain superficially the first term and the last one, starting with skills development. What do you understand by skills development? Skills development is the process of improving certain specific skills that will make you more effective and effective in discharging your responsibilities. Under skills development, you may wish to say skills development or skills upgrading or skills advancement. Skills development is all about trying to improve on the existing skills you have so that you will be able to continue discharging your responsibilities effectively. If you go back to the last term of the topic, Fourth Industrial Revolution, and reconcile with the beginning, skills development, you will realize that if we say Industry 4.0 is the same with Fourth Industrial Revolution and is the same with 4IR, they mean the same thing. The world has witnessed the first industrial revolution in the 18th century, the second industrial revolution in the 19th century, and the third industrial revolution in the 20th century. Beginning of the 21st century, we commenced the fourth industrial revolution, which is almost 23 to 24 years with us today. The fourth industrial revolution brought about many transformations all over the world. It is the actual exploding of the real technology with the emergence of what is called disruptive technology or emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, nanotechnology, biotechnology, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, cloud computing, virtual reality, augmented reality, and many more. The fourth industrial revolution is all about the convergence. It's about the interwoven of the physical world on one hand, biological world, and the virtual world on the other. The physical world is the world we witness. We see with our eyes, we hear with our ears, we can even touch it with our sense, we can also smell, and at the same time we can taste. So the physical world is the world that we live in, and these 5 organs are relevant. Our ears, our eyes, our tongue, our nose, and also our hands. We can taste. While the biological world is about living things, while the virtual world is a situation where the world has been transformed into a global village. The world has been converted into a global village today, where we sit here, we witness what is happening in the other parts of the world, either in the US or in China or in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You live here in Kazaure, but you can see what is happening through virtual world in other parts of the world at the time it is happening, meaning you can witness live. So the convergence of physical world, biological world, and the virtual world or the digital world is what brought about the fourth industrial revolution. So the fourth industrial revolution commenced around 23 to 24 years ago with the emergence of the emerging technologies. While the first industrial revolution was about steam power, the second industrial revolution was about electricity, television, the invention of radio and others. The third industrial revolution was about World Wide Web, internet, the invention of a website, the foundation of a globalization, where you can sit down and watch what is happening in the world, either on television or any other platform. But the fourth industrial revolution is about the fusion of these three worlds together, the physical, the biological, and also the digital or the virtual world, where the fourth industrial revolution allows more than one-way communication. While in the third industrial revolution was about witnessing one-way traffic. You can watch on television, but there is no way of replying to the television what was conveyed to you. But in the fourth industrial revolution, it allows live communication and at the same time the fusion and the interwoven of these four or three worlds together. The topic is apt. As I earlier mentioned, graduation is memorable. We all graduated at many stages of our life. Graduation from primary school, from junior secondary school, from senior secondary school, from university or any higher institution of learning like Polytechnic or College of Education, attending your MSc or PhD. At each and every level of your graduation, it comes up with excitement. I can recall the day we completed our primary school and the excitement that was with us. The same with secondary school. The same with our first degree, MSc and PhD. Each and every graduation comes up with excitement, not only for you, but for your parents, your friends, all other family members who are all excited. So I still recall that with nostalgia. There is no doubt about this. And sometimes I wish that if possible, you can rewind it back and witness your graduation once again in order to at least enjoy that excitement. Your graduation comes up with excitement and also many opportunities. Part of the opportunities, you will get recognition. We live in a community where people are respected because of the certificates they acquire. You have OND in your family, you will discover that you are respected within the family. You have higher national diploma. If it is the highest in your family, you are respected. You have a BSc or BA or BTech or MSc or PhD. In each and every one, you will discover there is a certain level of recognition and respect you get from your community, from your family, from your friends and others. This is good news for you. Secondly, it opens a door for you to get employed. You can easily see an advertisement on a newspaper or on television where citizens are encouraged to apply for a job, and you will see the minimum requirement is either OND or HND or BSc, as the case may be. So this is an opportunity for you if you attain that state of knowledge. Furthermore, it allows you also to further your education. If you are graduating today with OND, it is an avenue for you to seek for admission to go for HND or to go for your degree or any other alternative that is available at your disposal. So there are so many opportunities. If you intend to go into business, you will discover that the certificate you obtained, it gives you certain privileges. At least you go through the system, you interact with others, and so on and so forth. However, besides these opportunities, your graduate opens many doors of challenges as well. Firstly, in some of our communities, as a student, you are being supported by your parents and well-wishers, including your friends. You are in school, so they always support you. You don't have money, some they will provide for you. When you graduate, in most cases, you will be on your own. Nobody will be there to continue to give you money because you are no more a student. Secondly, if care is not taken, there could be a very serious mismatch between the knowledge you acquired and the available or the vacancies that are being advertised outside your school. You may wish to apply, but you could encounter some challenges. Why? Sometimes because of mismatch between the certificate on one hand and what the employer is looking on the other. Thirdly, which is another major challenge, not all graduates are employable. Some graduates are employable while others are unemployable. Because before you get employed, there could be stages of employment. Some will apply, he will be invited for an interview. During the interview, he fails. Why? Because he fails to answer the questions that he was asked during the interview. And you will discover that besides government institutions, where we feel that we are part and parcel of government and we are citizens, and our interests must be respected. If you are talking about the private sector, some of them do not only consider the certificate, but they are more interested in what you would bring to the table immediately. So they look at your social skills, the way and manner you interact with others. If you don't have social skills, you could have the certificate, but you will fail the interview. In 2021, a candidate was invited for an interview. He came into the interview hall. Before he's sitting down in front of them, he started to pick some sweets on the table without permission. And they were worried. How can somebody invited for an interview looking for an employment will just come in without permission to start serving himself from the table? And it was not in front of him, but in front of the leader of the team. They asked him from where. He said, "Why are you asking me this question?" It's a real life experience. And they asked him, "Who nominated you?" He said he doesn't know. "I don't know." Without asking any question, they asked him to leave, and he left the venue. In the report they compiled, they clearly mentioned these are his attitudes during the interview. Why? Because of lack of social skills. Social skills are very important. Our interpersonal skills, the way we interact with others. And this is what religion teaches us. The way we interact with others, to know how to say thank you, anyone that is kind to you, thank you, please, can I help you please? Okay, sir. These are parts and parcel of social skills. You listen more and you speak less. You are trying to improve your relationship with others. Today you will discover many graduates do not even know how to speak with their parents. There is no respect. They don't even know the way they should interact even with their employer. They don't even know. If you listen to them speaking to their employers, you will be worried. You know their future is very bad. So social skills are very important, and most of our graduates do not have them today, except very few. And that is why your certificate is supposed to be on character and learning. Not only learning, but including your character. Soft skills are very important, and most probably they are the most important skills after the social skills. And most of our graduates today in universities, colleges of education, polytechnics and others, you will discover they are lacking in the soft skills. Today, the modern way of teaching, the teacher or your lecturer is not supposed to be the driver of your own car. What we inherited usually, the person who teaches you is the driver. But the modern teaching, he is not supposed to be the driver, but he is only your supervisor and your passenger. He will sit right behind you and you are driving, so that when you make a mistake, he will correct it for you. He supervises the way and manner you drive your car, and at the same time, he draws you to order. So the modern way of teaching is not to restrict our students to only garbage in, garbage out, where you only give them lecture notes to memorize. During examination, they return it to sender. They memorize by heart from A to Z. During examination, they send it back to you without understanding anything from the content. That is not the modern way of teaching. The modern way of teaching today is only to open the doors for students and allow them to be the drivers. Encourage them in critical thinking, how they should think deeply. Encourage them to partake in complex problem solving. Encourage them to partake in team management. Encourage them to learn project management. Encourage them on how to think outside the box, not within the box. But today, even thinking within the box, many students fail in that regard. So the modern day of teaching is usually our lecturers are only supposed to guide us, to be our mentors. They challenge us to go and think critically, to come up with solutions to complex problems all over the world, and at the same time to encourage us how to interact with others. So there are challenges when it comes to soft skills. The reason when we say skills development, as in the topic of our discussion, there are three ways where you can increase your skill. Either to be upskilling, or cross-skilling, or reskilling. Upskilling is all about improving your skill sets on your current job. The job you do day in, day out, how can I improve on it without changing? You are comfortable, how can I improve on my critical thinking? How can I improve my interpersonal relationship with others? What are my weaknesses? How can I improve when it comes to my team management, project management, coordinating with others, creativity, or creative thinking, or thinking outside the box? So upskilling is about managing and improving your skill set of the job you do day in, day out. While cross-skilling is about learning new skills while maintaining your current job. It is the same job, but you want to acquire new skills on how to do. For example, today the basic way of teaching is to come out and teach students physically. We give them lecture notes, they photocopy. I can improve on my cross-skilling, firstly, by teaching students online. Online, you can teach students. So distance is no more a challenge. A lecturer teaching in this polytechnic, and he travels to Abuja or Lagos or to Kano, instead of postponing your lecture, if there is internet availability, you can have your board and you can teach your students virtually. Instead of giving them lecture note hard copy, you can email them. You can have a group where you can drop it. Instead of submitting their homework or their assignment physically, you can ask them to submit online. Are you following? This is part and parcel of cross-skilling, meaning you should come up with innovative ideas and innovative skills on how to improve on your current responsibility. While thirdly is about cross-skilling. Cross-skilling is mostly about how to switch from one job to another. You want to change your job completely. Particularly as I usually mentor our younger ones, that most of our elders who graduated 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, they studied whatever they wished. And at the same time, any course that was offered to them in polytechnic or university, they enrolled. Irrespective of what they studied, employment and job opportunities were waiting for them. Some of them were employed before their graduation. Somebody who studied biology education, physics education, history, or any other course. Vacancies were not challenging at that time. Unfortunately, today, the situation is not the same. The situation has completely changed. Any course you study, if care is not taken, you will struggle before you get employed. People who have privileges, where they study any course and they get employed immediately, are very insignificant in our communities. Very insignificant. They could be less than 0.1%. Because of the position that their parents or relatives occupy. They are very insignificant in our society. So some of us that are graduating now, our courses could not be relevant in the labor market. It could not be relevant. The most important thing, when you graduate, you apply for a job, you couldn't get it. There are 1,001 opportunities for you somewhere. Don't lose hope. Failure in getting an employment is not the end of your life. When you apply for a job or you try a business idea, when you fail, that should not be the end of it. I always encourage our younger ones that we should not consider a failure to be an opposite to success. But failure is the actual foundation of a success in life. Any successful person you see today in your community or in your country or anywhere in the world, he failed somewhere, somehow before he attains the position where he is today. Jack Ma, who was the richest person in China with a population of 1.4 billion people, he applied to Cambridge University after his graduation 10 times without getting admitted. Bill Gates was a dropout from university. Sam Altman. Listen, I'm not encouraging you to become a dropout, please. What I am trying to vindicate to you, that failure once, twice, 3 times should not be the reason why you lose hope in life. It shouldn't be. That is what I'm trying to say. And that is why you will see in a very successful communities like Silicon Valley in the US, they organize an annual conference where they call it FailCon, meaning failure conference, teaching young innovators on how to accommodate and be comfortable with failure. And they always teach them that failure once, twice, 3 times should not be a reason why you lose hope, but rather it should solidify your intention to continue to try. Because that failure is the foundation of your success. So we need to teach ourselves failure once, twice, 3 times, 4 times should not make you to lose hope in life, but rather you should keep on trying until you become successful. Reskilling is very important. I don't want to cite any examples with the courses that are not in demand either in Nigeria or globally. Unfortunately, our system of education in Nigeria has so many strengths on one hand and also many weaknesses on the other. Some of the weaknesses of our system of education is the way and manner that our curriculum and the courses we teach students and even the courses we offer in our higher institutions of learning are not flexible. There are courses today that we offer in our higher institutions of learning. If you compare their demand 30 years or 40 years ago and today, the demand drops by more than 95%. Some of them, their jobs are not required anymore except in special places. Furthermore, some of them, their jobs have been taken over by artificial intelligence and other technologies of the fourth industrial revolution, but we still offer them. It's a situation where our universities and higher institutions of learning are offering courses while we know definitely there are now opportunities for the graduates after their graduation. I can cite 20 examples of these courses, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to offend anybody. But if there are opportunities, as an applicant, you will know. When you start applying, you will know. It is because of this. Reskilling is very important. One can study biology education or sociology. After your graduation, no opportunity for you, for example. What you are supposed to do, you should engage in reskilling. You can immediately switch from that area of specialization to another area without unnecessarily going to any other polytechnic or university. That is what reskilling is all about. Today, we have so many experts in cybersecurity all over the world. But if you look at their degrees or their certificates while in university or higher institutions of learning, you will discover they have no any relationship with what they do today. Particularly, one of the major advantages of the fourth industrial revolution, there is less emphasis on your certificate. The emphasis is more on what you can bring onto the table. That is where the emphasis is. In 2020, June 2020, the then president of the US, Donald Trump, signed an executive order directing the US government to give more emphasis on skills-based recruitment rather than certificate-based recruitment. So with that approach, your employer is no more interested in your certificate, but he is more interested on what you can demonstrate when you are employed, what you can do, what you can bring to the table. That is what your employer is interested. And this is what is being found in all the major companies in the world, either in Microsoft, Apple, Huawei, ZTE, Samsung, Amazon, and others. Most of these institutions, when you apply, they hardly ask about your certificate or the university you attend. They are more interested, firstly, on your social skills, your interaction with others, interpersonal skills, and secondly, your soft skills. Unfortunately, most of them are not being taught in our higher institution of learning. However, permit me to recognize some of our brothers and also to commend their effort. Firstly, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid, the former Vice Chancellor of Bayero University, Kano, and also the former Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission. He reviewed the curriculum of our universities 2 years ago, and I had the privilege of being contacted to look into the ICT-related courses. Part of our recommendation to the committee is to ensure that we accommodate more and more social and soft skills into our curriculum for each and every course we teach in our universities. Secondly, I also commend the effort of our brother here, the chairman of the occasion, Dr. Masoud Adamu Kazaure, as the Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education. He also served as the Secretary of the National Skills or National Council on Skills that was chaired by the Vice President of Nigeria up to 2023. And I do hope that the council is going to be reactivated. He served as the Secretary, and I happen to be the member of that council. It is an initiative where we want to prioritize skills and ensure that our graduates obtain the skills that are required in the labor market. To ensure that there is a compatibility between our graduates on one hand and the vacancies on the other. We started the work, we couldn't finish, and all of us left our positions. However, the policy was in place by the time we left, and I encourage that the relevant officers of government should look into it and ensure that it is implemented. The same with the current Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, Professor Idris Bogaji. He has been advocating for skills. These efforts are recognized and commended, and they are all our brothers. There could be other people promoting this that we are not aware. We also commend their effort, whether we know or we don't know, their effort is commended. What is important today in the world, the opportunities that are available, usually the emphasis is on skills rather than the certificate we present. And even in Nigeria, sometimes if you look at it, you will discover that there are very important positions where there is less emphasis on certificate. Take for instance, in the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended, what is the minimum requirement for you to obtain and occupy the office of a governor? Secondary certificate. What is the requirement for being appointed as a minister? Secondary certificate. What is the requirement for being the president of the Senate in Nigeria? Secondary. What is the certificate for occupying the office of the Vice President of Nigeria? Secondary is sufficient. What is the minimum requirement for occupying the office of the President? Secondary. So even in Nigeria, you will discover our Constitution gives less emphasis to what? To certificates. Even the Constitution of Nigeria recognizes it. There is less emphasis. So what employers are interested today is what you can bring to the table. And in Africa, if we think outside the box, there are millions and millions of opportunities for our younger ones. The population in Africa today is approximately 1.4 billion people. Fortunately, our median age in Africa is only 20 years today. By implication, we are blessed with a very young population in Africa. And according to the African Development Bank, a minimum of 20 million people in Africa, year in, year out, join the labor market. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa. If you look at our population, you can predict that each and every year, around 5 million citizens join the labor market. Unfortunately, with all the strengths of our system of education, you will discover that there is a serious mismatch between our workforce on one hand and the vacancies that exist globally on the other. When I speak about a topic like this, I am not restricting my presentation to only Nigeria, but what I'm trying to emphasize is I'm looking for the vacancies globally. And this is one of our mistakes, particularly in northern Nigeria. Most of our younger ones, they look at only the opportunities that exist in Nigeria, while there are millions and millions of opportunities outside Nigeria. In the UK, in Europe, there are opportunities. In America, there are opportunities. In the Middle East, Saudi, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, Oman, there are many opportunities. In Asia, there are opportunities. Unfortunately, we are narrow-minded. Most of our graduates are narrow-minded. They only look at opportunities in their state. The maximum is in Abuja. We should not behave like that. There is no nation that will build its economy by only leveraging on the opportunities within the country. We are to encourage our graduates to compete, upskill, cross-skill, and reskill themselves so that they can compete and apply for any opportunity that exists globally in any part of the world. This is indeed very important. You can study sociology. After your graduation, you apply for a job you couldn't get. You may wish to become a Microsoft certified officer. You may wish to obtain certification for Cisco. It's important. I graduated from university. Within the first year of my graduation, I enrolled in Cisco and I obtained the certificates. Why? Because immediately after our graduation, we realized that we were lacking in skills. At that time, the emphasis was even on hard skills, that is technical skills, because usually our institutions provide knowledge rather than skills. Knowledge is about your familiarity with the factual information. If you are familiar with a factual information, that is knowledge, and the theoretical concept, that is knowledge. While skills is your ability to apply the factual information. That application of that information is what skills is all about. Today you will discover a PhD holder in mechanical engineering with expertise in automobile will not be able to fix his car when it is faulty. A PhD holder in power, in electricity, cannot fix electricity at home. He will only invite a dropout person who doesn't even have WAEC. Even if he has WAEC, it's only 2 passes, but he will come and fix it. Because why? Our major challenge, our institutions prioritize factual information or rather over skills. That is why this book, I don't know who brought this book to me. I didn't ask for them. This book I authored, skills rather than just degrees. What this book is teaching, firstly, this book is teaching you that you are free, you are encouraged to obtain your OND or HND or degree. However, you must agree that that paper certificate is no more sufficient. That paper is no more sufficient anymore. The privileges that our parents enjoyed by studying any course is no more available with us. And secondly, the book speaks about social skills, interpersonal skills. what we call human skills, because social skills and soft skills are called human skills. So the book speaks on this, and also the book speaks on technical skills, and encourage our universities and other institutions of learning, like polytechnic colleges of education, to make sure that we adopt a triple helix model, where academia, government, and industry, three of them, will have constant interaction, so that our graduates will obtain knowledge from university or polytechnic or college of education on one hand, and they will get skills from the industry, not only our industrial training, where students go there just to fulfill the requirement or to get their alawi. This is the problem. They should get access to world-class industry, where they can get the skills that are required in the labor market. And thirdly, government is there to provide funding, to provide policies and laws, and also to provide the enabling environment for our citizens and our graduates to be successful. So this is what the book is all about, that certificates are important, but they are not sufficient. Why? Because the experts, not all the experts of yesterday are the experts of today. And not all the experts of today will be the experts of yesterday. What we are speaking today is not what we learned from the university, but the university provided foundation for us. That foundation is sufficient for you to continue to build on it. So they are important, but they are not sufficient. That is very important indeed. And secondly, the book advocates for us to ensure that there is compatibility between the workforce we are producing and the vacancies that exist globally. There must be match between them and compatibility. Unfortunately today, in so many areas, there is no compatibility. Furthermore, the book encourages us also to ensure that we adopt the best models that are being promoted globally. Our polytechnics should copy like the Singapore Polytechnic model. It's an excellent model. Our universities should copy like the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, in the US, which I happened to be the champion of MIT from 2019 to 2021. It is the leading university globally for 13 consecutive years. Their model is not about producing graduates, but firstly, to ensure that the graduates they produce, they are compatible with the vacancies that exist globally. Secondly, their graduates are not potential employees, but rather they are potential employers. Their graduates are not job seekers, but rather they are job providers. The same with the model of the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT. It is an excellent model where they have been producing entrepreneurs for over 60 years today. And they have been dominating the labor market. Why? Because there is compatibility between their graduates on one hand and the vacancies that exist on the other. So this is what the book advocates, that our certificates, OND, HND degree are important, but they are not sufficient. And after our graduation, we should partake in self-improvement. That improvement should be on a daily basis. We are improving. Maintaining status quo is not possible in the fourth industrial revolution. It's not possible at all. Even as a medical doctor, if you are not improving, after 10 years, the knowledge could not be relevant, particularly with the modern technologies that are emerging. If you are a computer scientist, that is not sufficient. If you fail to partake in upskilling, reskilling, and cross-skilling, a situation will come that your knowledge could expire, could be irrelevant, and it could be outdated and obsolete. So what is important and what we are advocating, your OND, your HND, your degree, MSc, and PhD are important, but they are not sufficient. And secondly, if care is not taken, they are misleading. A situation where a graduate presents a certificate to you and he appears before an interview panel, he fails to answer simple questions that are being taught to 100 level students, then the aim of acquiring the certificate has been defeated. Because certificate is supposed to be a validation of the skills and knowledge we have acquired while on campus. So if we fail to show any evidence of knowledge and skills, then the aim of acquiring that certificate has been defeated, and we must accept that. And that is the reality of what is being found globally. And this adjustment is important. Recently, the government of Morocco adjusted effectively. And you will realize their graduates, even without certificates, are being employed in Europe, going to Spain, Germany, France, England. They are being respected and they are being welcomed by red carpets. While our graduates with OND, HND, BSc, MSc, and even PhD are illegally crossing the Mediterranean Sea in order to get access to Europe. Nobody cares just because of their certificates. So our certificates are important, but we must ensure that our certificates validate the knowledge and skills we acquire. Anyone who works with government or the private sector will complain to you about the quality of our graduates today. Unfortunately, our secondary school graduates of 30, 40, and 50 years, most of them today have more knowledge and skills than our graduates with BSc and HND. There is no doubt about this. Even those who completed secondary school 40, 50 years, they are better at that time than our graduates today with certificates. Why? Because we live in a community where we overrated certificates so much to the extent that our students and our younger ones are only interested in graduating and obtaining the certificate. They don't care whether they get the knowledge or not. They don't care whether they have the skills or not. What is important is the certificate. And this is our major challenge. While the certificate is supposed to validate the knowledge and skills we obtained, and this is our problem. So what we are advocating, let us ensure there is compatibility between our graduates on one hand and the job opportunities that exist globally. And the final point, if it happens, you are left in life, there is no time for you to go to polytechnic or university or college of education and obtain a certificate. Is that a death penalty? Absolutely no. It tells us again that even if you cross the time of going to university or polytechnic, it is not a death penalty. You can still adjust and be successful in life academically or educationally or intellectually, as the case may be. A recent example I will give. There is a Syrian Muslim who was born and grew up in England by name Mustafa Sulaiman. He attended a university in England. Due to some challenges, he couldn't graduate. Instead of losing hope and become a taxi driver, he decided to use his intellect and partake in innovation and entrepreneurship. Immediately, he switched into artificial intelligence subsector. He established his own startup. And the startup made sense. A year ago, or maximum 2, he was contacted by one of the leading tech giants globally. They purchased that startup, that company of artificial intelligence, at the price of more than 350 million sterling pounds. You can safely say they bought the company more than 500 billion naira. He couldn't graduate due to some challenges. But instead of reducing the bar and become a taxi driver or a laborer or messenger, he decided to use his intellect. And that, at the end of it, it pays off. Why? Look at what he achieved. Recently, he was appointed by the Microsoft Corporation in the US without graduating from university. They appointed him as the CEO of Microsoft Artificial Intelligence globally, and today he is in charge of that. What I'm trying to portray to you, if you graduate without being employed, it's not a death penalty. If you reach a level where you cannot obtain the degree, or OND or HND as the case may be, don't lower the bar by only becoming a taxi driver. You should have big dreams. It's very important, big dreams. And sky is not just your limit, but should be the beginning. If you put your trust in Allah and you try to improve, definitely you will be successful. The way Bill Gates happens to be successful in what he does, the same way Mustafa Suleiman happens to be successful without attaining a PhD like my humble self. But today, he is the CEO of Microsoft AI, while many graduates of computer science with PhD and even PhD in artificial intelligence are roaming about seeking for a job. Without graduating now, he is the CEO of Microsoft AI. I am not discouraging you in any way from certificates, but what I'm telling you is not enough. It's not enough, and it's not enough. You have to continue to improve and improve and improve. And don't make your certificate to be the only meal ticket. If your certificate fails to secure any job for you, there are 1,001 opportunities. You switch to another sector. Today in cybersecurity, I know certificates you can acquire. Within 6 months or 1 year, you can be employed globally. And within this period of time, you will be earning a minimum of 100 million or 100,000 USD annually. More than 150 million naira annually. And within 1 year, you can attain that. And today, in cybersecurity, there are over 4 million job opportunities globally. In AI, there are over 10 million opportunities globally. In blockchain technology, over 10 million opportunities globally. Don't restrict yourself to your certificate. If your certificate fails, there are other opportunities. Switch into certification. Either Microsoft certification, Huawei certification, Cisco certification, ZTE certification, many more certifications that you can enroll online, obtain the certificate, and get employed in any part of the world. Let us not lower the bar. I wish all of you a very successful graduation ceremony while praying to the Almighty to make you successful in whatever you do in life. Thank you very much for listening.
Once again, hands of applause for our Professor Ali, Isa Ali Pantami. Please, let's give a hands of applause for the man. Thank you so much, my Prof. Thank you very much. Yes.
Senator. 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 Senator.
I would like to also recognize the presence of Magatika Dr. Kazaure, who is here from Alhaji Musa Abakar. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much. Please take your seats. Let us continue. You see, in this dynamics of time, we definitely need three important elements. These important elements, you have to have good character. Three important elements: learning and skills. If you lack any of these three important elements, definitely you are gone. Any of this, you have to combine these three important elements. So he has talked on so many things: the need of skills, skill development, and what is happening in the present world. Yes, I would like to, before I continue, I would like to recognize once again our Senator, distinguished Senator, Dr. Babangida Hussein, who has contributed so much to the development of this polytechnic. You are seeing that new building when you are coming, the entrance to the gate, that School of Mathematics and Science Department. He's the one that brought that project here. And he's the one that constructed over 3 kilometer roads around the polytechnic. So we recognize him for that. Dr. Babangida Hussein Wali Kazaure also provided equipment for our clinic, the polytechnic clinic. So also the street lights you are seeing, from the guest houses down to the motor engine, is the one that provided good strength. Renovation of gates, and so many projects in Kazaure and Patron Kazaure in Jigawa State. Computer complex and so many other projects. And that's why we are going to give him a special fellowship, distinguished fellowship of the Polytechnic tomorrow. So let us give a round of applause for the Canadian people. Yes, before we go on our discussant, who is Dr. Abubakar Nalado, I would like to just take a case study of one of our students who has come to attend our convocation ceremony, Haruna Magaji. My professor, Haruna Magaji is the fellow. He was a graduate of 2018 in the Polytechnic, but he couldn't get job. But he set out his company in Contemporary, and he is now importing jalabas from Dubai, from Malaysia, from Saudi. He has even some foreign staff under his. He's the CEO of his company. He has many some of the foreign staff. So it's a case example. If you don't have job, you have to develop your own skills. He graduated in this school, in this polytechnic in 2018, SLT, but he couldn't get job. So it's a good case study. So you're welcome, Haruna Magaji. Yes, you may talk on the camera, but just do it, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa